So where I live now, and the house I'm in and how I got there, is a classic San Pedro story. So Connie and I were living in the Holy Trinity area in a really small house with 5 kids. And one of our neighbors a few blocks away, Mrs. Carroll, who had raised 5 kids and had sent all her kids to Holy Trinity, and so Connie and I had grown up with her kids. She says to her son, who used to date my wife, by the way, says, "Hey, Kevin, before we put this house up for sale, call the McOskers and see if they want to buy it." So Kevin calls me one day. You can imagine getting a call from your wife's ex-boyfriend. And he says, "Hey, can you meet for coffee? I need to talk to you about my mom's house." I said, "Sure, I'll meet you." He says, "My mom wants to sell you the house." I said, "Great." In 15 minutes, we decided on a price, and he said, she wants to carry back the paper. So we went down to the Hallmark store, which used to have those forms, and we did a trust deed, and we used an old-fashioned calculator to figure out what the interest would be. And Mrs. Carroll sold me her house on a price that we picked, me and her son picked, and she carried back the paper, no bank, no appraisal. And I say to her, "Mrs. Carroll," when I give her the 10% down and we sign the papers, and I say, "What if I don't pay you?" And she says, "Oh, Timmy, I've known your parents, I've known your grandparents, I've seen you grow up, you'll pay me." And she knew my wife and loved my wife. And I actually have pictures, I have a couple of pictures, or my wife has a couple of pictures of Kevin, who lived in the house, and my wife on the stairs of the house for the prom. And that's the house I still live in. Isn't that San Pedro?